Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back to another day in my garage, my man cave, and another day in accountability. How are you guys doing with your accountability today? I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, the year 2020, and I read through 2 Corinthians 12 today. This chapter really made me think about intuition and how Paul really embraced his weaknesses. So, why does Paul embrace his thorn in this letter to the Corinthians? Well, Paul embraced this thorn because it made him weak. And the more that we think about weakness, the more that a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people would rather be strong, would rather say, you come at me, bro. There's nothing that you can do to me. But we really need to embrace weakness because, as Paul knew, when he embraced his weakness, it kept him depending on God and the power of God. That's what verse 10 says. Now, what Paul understood was that the weaker he was, the stronger God becomes within him. Where there is less of you as a leader, there is more of God as a leader. Only a wise leader can understand that concept. Paul had intuition, and what that did was help him understand. And what did he understand? He recognized that, first of all, the opposition wasn't from God, and we can see that in verse 7. Second, he must seek God's answers to that problem, the problem of this thorn. He can't just work it out himself. We can see that in verse 8. Now in verse 9, it'll show a few different things, and we're going to see that God's answer to this problem was grace. And grace is perfected through his imperfections. We're speaking about Paul, not God. And that Paul should Paul should boast about his weakness and not his strengths. Just like everybody out there in the world today, all they want to do is one-up each other. All they want to say is, I see that you have this is what I have. How cool is that? And that's the whole mantra of people of today is what I have is better than what you have, instead of seeing what we have in as a whole and what we're lacking, meaning that's more area that God can grow inside of us. So lastly, I want to say that Paul recognized the tougher the problem, the greater the grace, and he says that in verse 10. So looking at these 6 things, I can rest knowing that if I'm struggling or feeling weak, God is working overtime and he is strong within my struggle. And that cheesy adage is correct, the adage of no pain, no gain, except for this one is without weakness, there is no perfect grace. So just remember that when you're walking around every day and when you're talking with your friends, your family, your circle, and people that are outside of your circle that you don't know. Just remember that your struggle, your weakness, truly defines you. It's not your strength. Your weakness defines how much of God you allow living in your life. If you have a lot of weakness, you have a lot of room for God. God is strong. God sends grace through weakness. He perfects it, is what it says in verse 9. He perfects his grace through your weakness. But if all you do is boast about what you have, who you are, what you do, just the person that you've become, you're showing everybody your highlight reels. There's no room for God to show his grace, his strength, and so if you're showing your strength, there's just no more room. So just think about that when you go out and about. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow a lot of times when you really get down to the nitty-gritty and you really think about it personally. How much room am I giving God when I allow myself to embrace that thorn that God placed in my life? If I embrace that thorn and I say, God, I'm weak, come fill me up, he shows up. 100 times out of 100, 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000, infinity times out of infinity, he shows up. But if you say, God, it's okay, I got this, he doesn't have a choice. You've closed the door on him. You put him in a box and said, I'm bigger than you. So remember that when you're walking around in your everyday life. That's my goal for myself. That's my prayer for you. And hopefully this message today really talked to you like it did to me. And if you think that you have somebody in your life that may need to hear this, by all means, go ahead and share it with them. I'm always open for you to share any of my videos that helped you. Maybe it'll help them as well. And if you like what I have to say, go ahead and put that thumbs up. I love to see that. And comment. I can't get enough of reading your guys' comments, and I love to see them, and I will comment back. If you don't know what this video is about, this video is my journey, my struggle in staying in the Word every day, staying on track. And these videos are things that I've learned through my reading of that day. So if you like what I'm talking about, if you like my concept, it's not really my concept, but if you like what I'm doing, by all means, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have and you forgot to, hit the little bell button at the top of your screen, and that'll let you know when my next video comes out. They should be coming out daily, with the exception of Sunday, as I do take a day of rest from videos. But I do look forward to seeing you guys, and I do look forward to hanging out with you in my man cave, in my garage. There's nothing more completing than being able to spend some time with everybody here, being able to spend some time with God mainly, and then sending a video out, just letting anybody know what I learned. So thanks for hanging out with me. As always, be safe, go and grow, and be blessed.